AJ Ellis is kind enough to take time away from his duties with the San Diego Padres. They are in Chicago to be with us to talk about and reflect on a career of his very good friend, Clayton Kershaw. AJ Ellis is probably one of the only people that when he got traded away, I was actually emotionally bummed about it when he left Los Angeles. AJ, welcome. What was your immediate reaction to Clayton's announcement that he will, in fact, retire at the end of the season?
It's good to see you, Alanna. It's been a long time. Miss you. It's what a career. It's been being able to watch him in my post playing career, watch his starts, watch the way he's battled through, the resiliency he's shown. I've just been in awe of him, and I'm glad that he and Ellen and the family and he's in the Dodger organization have came to this realization. I've seen some people thinking, and I saw Freddie's quotes that, he thought, Clayton would just stop showing up. He's just that's the kind of guy he is. But baseball, the Dodger fans, we all deserve the chance to honor him and celebrate him tonight. And it's going to be a special day. I did just hear the news about Apple TV covering the game, and that's a bummer. So I actually think because of that, he should actually come back and pitch in 2026.
And then you'd have to do a whole nother day of retirement speeches for him. Look, you're going to go on like 100 different shows. Tell us something, because this is a player-to-player show. Tell us something that we don't know about Clayton that you're not going to talk about when people ask, oh, what's his favorite color when you go on the other corny shows.
Oh man, that's a good one, Erik. I don't know what stays in the clubhouse and what's able for public consumption, but no, it's in a world where as a former player yourself, and Trevor, you'll understand this as well. Baseball, the grind is relentless, and we all have that time where day game after a night game, maybe you got a little overserved the night before on the team playing. Not feeling great, had a tough morning with the kids at the house. Clayton's consistency and his inability to ever take the out when we all take it. We all turn that 3-setter into a 2-setter. We all turn that 45-pitch bullpen into a 20-pitch bullpen because I'm just not feeling. He never cut a corner. And that consistency that he showed was like just that model that he had. I was in awe on that. I think all of his teammates are in awe on that. And it's something that is what stood the test of time for his ability to be consistent and to dominate on the field.
Was there ever a point where you because he was dominant, like when kids go back and look at his baseball reference, he was dominant. Was there ever a point where you're like, I know he should throw a fastball here or throw his curveball, but I just want to see if he's this good. We got a 2-run lead. I want to see if I can just throw this. Was there ever a point where you were like kind of like a heat check?
No, what's funny is everything with him was so scripted out, like in our pregame meetings. And like I said earlier today when chatting a little bit, I think both of us were so fortunate to come up with, Rick Honeycutt and Brad Ausmus, who really taught us, what it was like to prepare, what it was like to game plan. And, Clayton took that to heart. And so, his ability to prepare and get ready for, an opponent, and that conversation we'd have 2 hours before that first start, he was so detailed with what he wanted to do on the mound. It didn't waver, and it was not – the scoreboard did not matter. The score of the game did not matter. It was his get outs as fast as he possibly could. His job was to throw innings, go deep in the game, and, that was his goal every single season he took the mound was to lead the National League in innings pitched. That's all he wanted to do was lead the league in innings pitched because that was the mark of effectiveness. And so having a game plan, having a scouting report, having a competitiveness, having an ability to game manage – all played into that ability to really become, the ace that he was for such a long period of time.
There's a couple of images that are just emblazoned in my brain. One is very doctored. It's you and Clayton coming out of the bullpen before a Clayton start, but it's like behind you guys was just this wall of fire because it was such an unbelievable battery, and the relationship that you two had was second to none. And I'll also never forget when Clayton threw his arms up in the air. You were caught, you caught the no-hitter. You embraced. You guys had such a special relationship. And I said at the top of this that I was so emotionally upset when they traded you. But so was Clayton. And I remember the interview after the AJ Ellis trade. And Clayton was emotional. And Clayton does not show his emotions to the public often. Can you speak to his relationship and what you guys meant to each other?
to be able to be 60 feet away in your workplace from, the most dominant, pitcher of a generation, someone who's at the top of the world in what their craft is, and that for that person to also be your best friend, I don't know of anyone else who can have that experience. And we came up in the Dodger system together. I was a couple years ahead of him in draft, but he flew past me along the minor league way and in player development as he, on the trajectory he was on. And but by the time we caught back up, it was, we were just connected. We were in a cab together every morning, or every day to the ballpark. We were just on the rail together, hanging out. At the time, I was not the everyday catcher. We had some really talented guys in Russ Martin, Rod Barajas, and others. So I was, my job was to catch his bullpens, to be out and do his conditioning with him, just to kind of give him a partner to train with. And in the midst of that time spent together, we built a bond, and we built some common. So we shared some common interests with faith and with our family and our competitiveness and our desire for team success to surpass individual success. And it's what's kind of kept us connected. It's what's kept us together for so long. It's been wonderful, in my post-playing career, even in my role with the Padres, to continue to be a sounding board for him and to just help walk through, this final act of his career with him. And our friendship is beyond special to me compared to what it was to be his teammate. And I'm glad that we'll continue to be, great lifelong friends, following his career.
Did he discuss with you signing back with the Dodgers? And if he did, how close was he actually to? Because you said he's you're a confidant for him, somebody you can talk to. Was there a chance he would have gone to play for the Rangers?
No, I think it's fair to say, and Clayton would even admit it, that's definitely something that had always been on the radar as a potential final type of a final destination for his career, to get back home, to wake up every day, take his kids to school. I think there was a lot of attractiveness to that. But I think there was the pull towards being a one uniform guy, the pull towards continuing to play in postseasons and compete for that was too strong. And I think he doesn't like to talk legacy. He doesn't like to talk about his place in history, but he's also aware of it, and he's also aware of what he means to the Dodger fan base, what he means in the legacy of Sandy Koufax and Fernando Valenzuela and then Clayton Kershaw, these left-handed just generational people, talents, and who have transcended Dodger baseball, transcended and become Southern California icons. And it's just, I think he realized, a few years back that, whenever it was time to conclude his Dodger career, that was also going to coincide with the end of his baseball career.
Clayton, and you just locked it in for me. He's always seemed like a guy who's pretty understated and doesn't love the spotlight, even though he has had so many moments in that spotlight. And for catching him being a friend for so long, what's a quintessential behind the scenes conversation moment, something that may seem understated in the moment, but that just demonstrates what type of pitcher and athlete and competitor that Clayton Kershaw is?
So you guys have been in the dugout during no-hitters before, and as the game starts getting deeper and deeper in the game, we've all seen the scene where the starting pitcher is sitting alone and no one is talking to him, and everybody's kind of allowing him to, no one wants to go and break the concentration or jinx the no-hitter and talk to the starting pitcher. And, during his no-hitter in 2014 against the Rockies, we're getting towards the later innings of the game and no one's talking, and but we're getting towards the bottom of the lineup, and we realize the Rockies are definitely going to start deploying some right-handed hitters. They have a pitcher spot coming up. There's going to be some pinch hitters coming up, and so Rick Honeycutt and myself are over there kind of staring at the lineup card, kind of talking through what's going to happen. And Clayton, all of a sudden, we feel this presence sneak up behind us. And it's between both. And Clayton says, who are they going to pinch hit? And neither Rick or I want to talk. Neither Rick and I want to say a word to Clayton in this moment. And it's like, and before we say anything, he goes, I think it's going to be Culberson. I think Culberson's going to pinch hit. We're just going to pitch the strengths, right? Pitch the strengths. And I think I just said, yeah, pitch the strengths. And he turned around and Rick Honeycutt said, you talked. You just ruined it. And I was like, oh, God, did I just screw this up? Well, thank God Charlie swung at a first pitch fastball and popped up to Yasiel Puig, who made the only two-handed catch in the history of his career, and was able to get that out to close off the second out of the ninth inning.
It should have been a perfect game, AJ.
I don't want to go there. Come on.
Does that keep you up at night? All right. I'll go there.